Hello fellow humans and welcome to this week's shop review. The SCM-36 can be sold for 950 gold and that's about the only thing it's worth, but these ×5s are actually unlocked. So this is actually not that bad of a bundle because it includes gold boosters, premium time, and a pointless crate, but this is 950 gold right here, so for that, this is a pretty good bundle. And then we have the Iron Predator, a bundle so bad, I want to throw up. Now, the turtle is a horrible vehicle. It's basically just a young tiger, but worse at everything. And then the Object 274A, well, it's got 2k DPM, 185mm of penetration, and 310 alpha damage with basically no armor and mid mobility. So what you're buying here is a crappy Soviet Pershing. Now, the T-23E3 is a very challenging vehicle to play, but if you don't encounter smashers, it can work out quite nicely at tier 7. But then again, it is a tier 7, so then we have the Concept 1B, overpriced, that's all I have to say. And we still have the Fury here, which is a good bundle for €8, ×25s that are unfortunately locked to the vehicle, but the Fury is a pretty solid tier 6, and for the boosters that you get here, this is not that bad if you want the Fury. If you don't, then obviously don't buy the bundle. This is going to be gone. And we have the Forged Alliance of the MX CDC, which is a joke. I apply the Pershing scale to a vehicle like this, and if it's worse than the Pershing, it's not worth buying, and this is definitely worse than the Pershing. And then we also have the AMX CDA 105, and if you've seen my latest tank destroyer video, then all you know is that this is basically just a worse WZ-120 1GFT. The elusive scouts, like I said last week, elusive shits. The resources are the good rotation this time, no credits involved here, so if you are looking for a lot of gold, then these can be somewhat useful. Let's stay away from any type of paid containers, also ones like this. We can get a tier 10 for €12, you probably don't, you get the 5k gold, so stay away from those especially. And also, I mean, Soviet containers, whatever, top-notch collection, anything top-notch about this is Wargaming's profit margin. It will get worse very soon, and there are also a lot more vehicles here where you can get either gold or at the tier 10, but again, these are not very good. The drop chances is 80% for the gold, so even if you buy all of them, you might get one and you'd never get the one that you want. So always buy tanks directly in the shop. And just one last moment to laugh at this absolute abomination of an offer. That is a worse RU-251 for over €100. That is unbelievably trash. Now, before it gets worse, it does get slightly better with the Bizonte Z45 draw, which is a good vehicle, don't get me wrong. But the Bizonte is a very good vehicle, but this draw overall isn't really that good. But why am I playing it? Because like with any draw, the first two are pretty much a great return for your gold investment. So if you, let's say, play the first two, I've just made 400,000 creds with just over 100 gold. That's pretty good. But then if you play the third one, that's when you start to sort of lose your gold eventually. However, the Bizonte, very good vehicle for what it is. The DPM obviously is awful. If you also fire the second shell. But overall, the Bizonte is a pretty solid vehicle, but in the draw, not really worth it. Now, to the most impeccably brain-dead thing that has ever existed in this entire game. And I do include spare parts, I do include the Sheridan missile. This is without a doubt the stupidest thing that has ever happened in the World of Tanks Blitz shop. There is a draw for containers. What in the actual fridge is this? We all know it's stupid. Stay away from it. Just ignore it. In other news, you can now play 20 battles for a Season 2 avatar. I guess that is a great return for whatever you're doing, and the Chasing the Moon event is still ongoing for another day, where you can get yourself some overpriced anime titties if that's what you're into. And if you're not, then you can also get yourself some gold boosters and here we go with the WZ-111-5A, which is very much a Chinese product, and that is cheaply manufactured and sold for too much money. The problem with this thing is that even though it does have 3000 DPM and 440 alpha damage, it's a very solid gun at that, the armor doesn't really exist whatsoever, just like Evergrande's budget sheets, which means that overall, you have a heavium armor without the heavium mobility, because then again, this is a Chinese engine after all. So what you have here is a heavium that can't heavium, which is not that great. But now let's peek this guy, which has significantly more alpha damage, so gotta be very careful here. And now they're all peeking there. 7 degrees of gun depression does allow me to get down there just about enough. But overall, not really that great. Try to side scrape in this thing? Forget it, because of the front plate angled inwards. It's impossible to set up a proper side scrape without being shot into the front plate, because this plate right here will always be exposed. You could try to set up a reverse side scrape, but that's very rarely worth the time ever. But now, all I can do here is just peek quickly like this, because, first of all, you can't side scrape in this position, but anyway. So, the Concept 1B is obviously sold for even more money, but it is also a better vehicle than this one. Should you buy the Concept 1B instead of this thing then? Well, no, you shouldn't. You just shouldn't buy either of them. Now, the thing is, with the T110E5 now being buffed again, this thing just doesn't really have a place at all, because the E5 can also hull down, and also the Super Conqueror and the Chieftain exist, and also the VK90. So, there's no real point to buy this Beware of heavy tank right here, because it can't really do anything useful, and the heat rounds on this thing are shockingly bad. It cannot even penetrate the turret of a E100 with it, so not really useful heat rounds anyway. Now it's gonna go down the hill here. The enemy team is pretty much screwed at this point. The Minotauro has turned around because obviously his gun's pointing that way, which means I can simply go behind him and track him like that. And now what I can do, because he doesn't have a turret, I can just drive up behind him and yeet some HE right into the back of his turret, which is also very nice. So overall, the verdict for this vehicle is Chinese. And that's, I think, everything I need to say. So, with that said, thank you very much for watching, and see you next one. Bye. And don't buy this. And also don't buy crates.